before we start talking about the today's page, I would like to take you into networks and imports and talk about what you need to do in order for the today page to actually start showing any data. So no matter if you are on Office 365, G Suite, or just using Outlook or just using Gmail, you'll be able to connect it to Nimble. For our Office 365 customers, we have a great news. We have a one button connector. So literally within seconds, you'll be able to connect your emails, contacts, and calendars. You can also decide not to import your contacts. If you decide to connect them, then you'll be redirected to, you'll be asked to log in with your Office 365 login information, and then you'll be asked to tag your contacts. This is crucial to make sure that your contacts will be nicely organized and everybody on your team will know who brought in what contacts and why, where they're coming from, and so on. You can also connect multiple email accounts. So even if you are using a combination of Office 365, personal Gmail, Office 365, and G Suite, you can connect as many emails as you want to Nimble as long as they're IMAP. You can also bring in your LinkedIn contacts. You can do so by downloading them into a CSV file and then importing them into Nimble. Nimble will also give you the option to bring in any other contact data you might have in various spreadsheets into Nimble. You just save them into a CSV file, and we have pretty nifty importing tool that will help you decide where to put the data and how to organize it in Nimble. So we covered how to connect email accounts. You can also bring in your Outlook calendar and your Google Calendar. In terms of bringing contacts from other places, we have an integration with a company called PySync. They specialize in bidirectional contact synchronization. They have, together with us, built a Nimble in-the-box integration. So that's why you can connect to PySync from inside of the settings, networks and imports page in Nimble. The way it works is that you can just look for the application you want to sync Nimble with. And then after clicking on it, you will be able to create a free trial of PySync from inside of Nimble. During the trial, you can bring in as many contacts into Nimble as you want. So if you are just transitioning from different CRM, or if you are just getting set up with Nimble and you want to make sure that all your contacts from various different places and various different applications are all stored in Nimble, you can use PySync to do so. If then you would like to keep the apps in sync, if you would like the contacts in Nimble stay in sync, let's say with your contacts in Google Contacts or in MailChimp, you can have the integration doing that for you in the background. If you were to sync less than 2,000 contacts per month per user, the integration would remain free. And if you would go over that, then there would be a charge associated with it, depending on the number of contacts you would want to have in sync. But if you are only interested in using PySync to bring all your data into Nimble and then have Nimble as the main source of truth, you can just abandon your trial, basically. So a lot of apps we integrate with. So I would suggest you use the search feature to look for your favorite applications. And once you have your emails connected, your calendars connected, once you have your contacts in Nimble, then we can go back to today page. And this page will start populating with data. The intention of the today page is for everybody in your company to know exactly what they need to do on a daily basis. This page can also be completely customized. You can upload your logo and your background, and you can move all these different boxes around. So let's just first go through an overview of what these boxes are. So we have this events box that will show all your calendars. You can either ask Nimble to show you all calendars you have connected to Nimble at once, or you can have Nimble display just individual calendars. In calls, this is where you'll be able to see all your calls you have scheduled inside of Nimble. You can have pending calls, completed calls, those that are overdue. We also have a stay in touch feature in Nimble. So with every single contact record, that being a lead or an existing customer, you will have the ability to set up a stay in touch cycle. So it can be completely customized, and then we will remind you when it's time to follow up with these people. So this feature is supposed to help you stay on top of your network. In tasks, these are to-dos. So you can create tasks on individual contact records. You can either assign them to yourself and put them on your to-do list, or you can also assign them to any other Nimble users. So then you'll be able to see what's on your plate, and also any tasks you may have delegated, those that are overdue, those that have been completed, and also you can kind of prioritize by marking some of them as important by clicking this little star. We also have a widget in Nimble for all your deals, so you'll be able to see all your active deals, those that have been lost or won, and also your team deals. We also have a stage funnel here and a pipeline chart. So these are the main widgets you can use on your Today page. If you want to add new ones, you can click on Manage Widgets, then Add or Remove Widgets, and we have a little list here. So we recently added calls widget, so you can check it. You can also click on Add Widget to make sure that there are not any that you could use missing from your Today page. So I, for instance, would like to also see email tracking, because we do have a built-in email tracking in Nimble, and I like to have the ability to see how people are interacting with the emails I send them. So then it will be here. So we have email tracking for individual messages as well as for group messages. So that's the Today page in Nimble. Let's go into contacts because Nimble, after all, is a contact database. This is what a contact record looks like in Nimble. On the left side, you have all the information about your prospects and customers, like their last name, their title, where they work. We also plug in all the different social networks they are active on. You can create notes, log activities that would be for anything that already happened in the past. If you want to use it to schedule something that is supposed to happen in the future, that's not a problem. You can just uncheck it here. But we also have a schedule button here as well. So if you want to schedule a task for yourself, or if you want to assign it to somebody else on your team, make sure that they will do the follow-up with a certain individual, you can do so here. You can create events and put them on your calendar or any calendar you have connected to Nimble. You can set up calls here and custom activities. So the custom activities can be used for anything. If you do a lot of workshops, if you meet with people in person, or if you communicate a lot on LinkedIn and you want to mark the activity as such, you can also create a custom activity for LinkedIn conversations. And then on the left side here, you can also set up the privacy. So contacts can be private to owner. They can be shared with everyone. They can be viewable by everyone. And you can also set up custom privacy. So you'll have the account administrator will have the ability to create privacy groups. So let's say you are adding your sales team, your marketing team, customer success team. Each of these groups can have different set of permissions. So your sales team, of course, will have access to edit your pipelines, or maybe just a sales manager will. But they will have the ability to at least view all the deals, but maybe your marketing team doesn't need that, or customer success team. So we have group privacy settings now that you can utilize. Under contact info, you can see the basic contact info about the person. If you need more, you can just click more. We also have a built-in search contact feature. So as long as you know the first name, last name, and the company the person works for, we'll be able to find their contact information. On the trial, we'll give you 25 lookups, and then we have upgrades available that you can use if you decide to use the feature. The easiest way to organize contacts in Nimble is using tags. So it's very easy to apply tags to individuals or tag groups that we will go over just in a second. You can also quickly qualify your leads. These individual fields can be customizable in settings. So everything you're seeing here that can be customized to your needs. Can set up the lead source. Again, totally customizable. And this as well. We also offer a smart summary, which can help you to quickly review who the person is and help you prepare for any meetings. Under data fields, you'll be able to review a detailed information about the contact. And you can also create custom tabs. So each contact record can have up to 5 custom tabs. And after each tab, you can create over 100 individual fields. And all this information can be customizable, and you can segment on it. You can also upload files from OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox, and then have everything about the person or the company in one place. When we go back to the main contacts view, once you bring all your contacts into Nimble, you'll probably want to do something with them. So we have a segmentation feature. If you want to create lists of people, you can click on segment search. And then you can either choose from these existing or highlighted filters. These are just the filters that our customers use the most, but you can segment your database using any default field that's already in Nimble or any custom field you or anybody else on your team may have created. So I can use one of these. I can go into a city. I can see how many contacts I have in Prague. And then I can also further refine it by the title or education or anything else. So I can do the title and do CEO. And I don't know any CEOs in Prague, so I could change the location easily by clicking the plus sign button here. And I can actually choose any field that is available in Nimble. So I could also use a custom field that I created. So this was a product type that I created. So all the people that purchase a certain type of your product. You can also come up with a list of people that you last contacted in the last, let's say, 90 days and work from there and only contact the people that you have recently talked to. You can also create search groups here. Once you come up with the group of people that you're happy with, you can save them as a segment, and then the segments will show up on the left side of the screen here. Then you can quickly go into them. If you want to keep the segment just for you, you can just keep this little lock button locked. But if you want to share it with anybody on your team, you can unlock it and it will be shared. Let's say you are using this feature to create groups of your clients in different locations, and you just created all the clients in California, and you would like to copy the segment to save time on picking the different filters here. You can just copy the segment and just change the location, for instance. And then you would just rename it, save it, and it will show up here as well. Another thing you can do with a segmented group of people is to mark them as important. I can also bulk apply a tag I can set up a stay in touch reminder. I can also bulk change the owner. So I can make myself the owner of all these people. Let's say I created a list of our investors and I would want to be the only person in the company that is able to view these records. I can also bulk change the privacy, and I'll be the only Nimble user that can even find these contact records inside of Nimble. In case you identify any duplicates, you'll be able to use our merge feature. If you want to export the list, you can do so here as well. And of course, the account admin will have the ability to restrict certain Nimble users from the ability to bulk export or bulk delete. You can also send people a group message. Here we are. The advantage of this feature is that these emails will actually be sent from your email provider. You can select from whichever email account that you have previously connected to Nimble you want to send this email from. And to all the people on the list, it will look like you took the time to send them a one-on-one message from your Gmail or Outlook. They will not know they were part of a list. And we give you the option to personalize it. So if you merge on the first name, we'll automatically grab it. You can also use the company and create a template and then save it. If you already have a template, you can put it in. In settings, you can of course set up your email signature. You can just copy and paste, and then we will be automatically adding the email signature to any individually sent messages or group messages sent from Nimble. We also give you the option to include an unsubscribe link, attach files, do some basic formatting, and we recommend sending yourself a test message before sending any group email to make sure that the formatting looks good, that there are no typos. If you include links, to double check that the links work. And then when you're ready to send the email and you send it, you can also go into your group message tab again, and we'll give you the insights on the clicks and open. So we'll send you how many, we'll tell you how many people open, how many clicked, how many unread emails you have, if anything bounced or failed for a different reason. If you include the unsubscribe link, will also prevent you from sending future emails to unsubscribed people. We'll put them in a special list and show you how many unsubscribed. In addition to giving you the insights on the opens, we also tell you how many times people click the link you may have included in there. And in activities, under listing, in this view, you can use it to create to-do lists for yourself, or you can also, as a manager, use it to report on the activities of your team members. So you can either see all the activities your team is performing in Nimble, or you can focus on specific ones. So if I want to see how many calls a certain sales rep did last month, I can set up the time frame here. I can select the activity type, which is calls, and this is where I can pick the individual sales rep. You can also configure the table here and tell Nimble what columns you want to see on your screen. If you always want to have certain columns in the front, you can pin them. So you can use this little pin sign. Unpinning is very easy as well. And if you hover over it, you can also drag and drop. So you can use the way that they're displayed. Another feature here is the ability to save your filters. So if there are certain views that you keep coming back to, instead of doing all the clicking, you can save it. So I like to use it to create like a to-do call list for myself. So I already saved the settings here, and I can immediately default to all my calls. You can also export it and then print it out or send it to somebody or discuss the report in the meeting. And second to last tab in Nimble are deals. Nimble allows you to create as many pipelines as you need. So you can, if you sell multiple products, or if you are a business owner that actually owns several businesses, you can create a pipeline for each of your businesses or each of your products you sell. You can also use different pipelines for tracking different activities. You can create deals and pipelines for fundraising, tracking any public relations opportunities, any speaking engagements. If you do a lot of interviews, you can also track how many you have pending, and so on. And then if you want to create a new deal, you can do so from here. Then you type in the name of the deal, the probability of you closing it, the primary contact, the participants, the amount, expected close date. You can assign it to either yourself or anybody on your team, and you can set up the privacy. So deals can be private, so only you will be able to see them. They can be viewed and editable by everybody on your team, or you can make them only viewable by the rest of your team. And then you will be the only person able to make any changes to the deal. Then you can pick the pipeline on which you want the deal to go on and set up the appropriate stage. If you want to include any comments, you can do so here. You can either save and move on, or you can continue editing, and then we will open the entire deal. So it will look like this. And once there's any activity with the people involved in the deal, you'll see all the messages here, all the activities, tasks, events, and calls, any notes, and any attachments. If you want to add activity to a deal, you can do so from here. If you want to log a note, you can do so as well. And you can also attach files from OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox. When we go back to pipelines, I want to also show you that you can, this is where you can select which pipeline you want to review. If you want to see all the deals that your team is working on, or if you want to focus on just your deals or deals that a specific sales rep is working on. Those that you are that are active, those that have been won, lost, or those that are stuck, meaning they exceeded the allowed number of days you set up that each deal would be allowed to stay in a certain stage for. You can also view it as a list, or if you prefer seeing it as a pipeline, you can easily drag and drop, move to review all the individual stages. Again, this can be completely customized. So if you want to make any changes, you can go to customize pipelines, either customize an existing pipeline, you can hover over it, change the name, change the limit of the days of the stage. You can change the name of the entire pipeline. You can add stages. When you hover over it, you'll also be able to drag and drop like this if you want to change the order of the individual stages. When we go back to pipeline, excuse me, you can also add a new pipeline, and then you'll be able to start from scratch. So you can set up all the individual stages here. And we also have reporting. So you can report on all the pipelines, individual ones. You can create a report for your entire team or individual reps. You can, of course, set up the time frame here. You can see a dashboard here. Again, you can play with what pipelines you want to focus on. If you want to create a team report or an individual report, you can also forecast deals here, review deals history, And then you can click the print button here and save it as a PDF, and then again, send it to somebody or print it out. I also want to show you our browser extension. So the way it works is that you plug it in and then you just bring it on anywhere. It really works anywhere on the web. So it can be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, any other social media platform, and anywhere on the web, including any third-party cloud-based application. If you use PySync, if you if you use Mailchimp, or if you use QuickBooks Online, Xero, if you use a different CRM, you could also use this extension to basically use Nimble in the application. And if you're on social media, you can just hover over any name anywhere. And if the contact already exists in your Nimble database, we will show it and you'll be able to make any changes, as well as review any existing information you have about the person. So I can see who Trish is. I can see her other social media profiles. I can read her bio. I can put a quick note on her contact record. I can log any past activity. So let's say I created custom activity for a LinkedIn message, and I just talked to Trish using LinkedIn messaging. I can log it into my CRM this way. If, let's say, we just talked with Trish and she asked me to set up a call for next week, I can do so straight from here as well. I could send her an email directly from here as well and then track it. And I could also create a deal straight from here. And so, yeah, I can set up privacy, stay in touch reminder. I can assign the owner of the contact record. I can review her contact information, create new tags, review existing ones. I could qualify her from here and review her smart summary, and also see what has been done with her and when, what the next steps are, and so on. Let's say I talk to Trish and she tells me she just rebranded, or she started a new company. I can also edit her information straight from here. I can easily access all my custom fields as well and fill in the information in them as well. So this is for existing contacts. Let's say I hover over somebody who interacted with her content and I don't have the person in Nimble, so I'll hover over Tatiana. Nimble will help me create a contact record for her. So I can do so within seconds, depending on the information available about the people that you're creating the contact records for. Will be able to fill in the contact record with certain amount of information. So you can also use the extension to create lists. So as you can see, I'm just hovering over a bunch of people here, and I could select them all. I could add those I don't have in Nimble, and then I could tag them and bring them into Nimble and maybe ask my team member to go after them, or I could set up reminder for myself to follow up with these people or like look into them. So this is how it works on LinkedIn. I mentioned that it will look the same anywhere on the web. You can also use our Gmail extension. So it will do the same thing. It will automatically show you the people that you already have in your Nimble. You can do the same thing with them. If it's a new person you don't have in Nimble yet, we will help you to create the contact record for them. So as you can see, we already grabbed some of the information from there. If you are using Outlook, you open it up and click the Nimble Contacts extension here. And it will do the same for new and existing contact records. You can mark them as important. You can set up a stay in touch reminder with them. You can add a note, create task, event, call, set up a custom activity, deal, an event, and so on. It will also work in a similar way on Outlook for web. So if you're using the web version, okay, I'm not logged in here. I apologize because we just had a tech issue. I wasn't set up to host the webinar, but it will look the same as on the desktop. So we do have the we give you the ability to use the Nimble extension in the both versions. And with that, now I am going to go through the list of the questions we received today. Rich says that they are using ACT and they use it for segmenting customers into groups. And he hopes that Nimble can work similarly. So I'm not familiar with the way ACT works in terms of segmenting customers into groups, but I kind of went over how our segmentation works. You can basically segment on any field that is in Nimble by default or that you created. And then you can save segments, you can tag the group. So hopefully this accomplishes what you would like to do with Nimble. If you have any specific questions in regards to the segmentation and creating groups in Nimble, please let me know and we can go over it. Michael, is there a way of connecting Nimble to my voice over IP phone so I can track calls? Yes, we have the ability. Nadia, if you can find a support article to share with Michael in a chat, it will be great. Thank you. Chris is asking, would this work for importing from HubSpot? And I believe you are referring to our pricing integration. The answer is yes. So you can go here and type in HubSpot, and then you'll be able to bring the bring your contacts from HubSpot directly into Nimble using pricing. Chris is also asking, is there a widget that tracks how many contacts have been added daily, weekly, etc.? Not yet. I'm just trying to let me see. Okay, a workaround, possible workaround is using the segmentation because we track the creation date of the contact record. So you could use the segmentation to pull up a report like that. But at this moment, we don't have like a nice widget you would be able to add on your Today page to see that. Ashley, when using group email, is this similar function of constant contact campaign monitor? Could this replace those email campaign programs or bolster the support? Great question, Ashley. The short answer is no, because the group messaging feature was actually designed to be used in conjunction with the segmentation and to use it for saving you time on following up with people or sending proposals in bulk and so on. It wasn't designed to replace an marketing automation feature. If you have a smaller email list, then you could possibly use it depending on how much you want from the from the tool in terms of templates and formatting capabilities. We do not have beautiful templates. We basically allow you to save like a text template, of course, with attachments or pictures, but we don't have any HTML templates available. Another thing is that there are send limits on the group message. On Nimble Business, you will be able to send 100 messages per day per user. Of course, you can upgrade up to 300. The reason we set the limits so low is because the emails are being sent through your email provider, and each email provider has their rules they follow when they are basically flagging people as spammers. So because this wasn't designed to basically blast people with your newsletter, we don't want you, and it's being sent through your email provider, we don't want you to get flagged. I mentioned we don't have the templates. So I would say no if you have group of 50 people that you are sending pretty simple newsletter or outreach, then you might be able to use it. So it really depends on the needs of your company. Michael, the Nimble Contacts widget in Firefox isn't working. It appears with just a circle in the middle. I believe that you are correct, and our team is working on the fix. I don't have an ETA at this moment, but it's something we are actively working on. So we should bring it back to life soon. Sharon, does the system auto import emails into a contact file, and will it also include any attachment shared? Yes. So once you connect your email in settings, then we will go 90 days back, and then going forward, we will be auto adding it to the individual contact records. So you will be able to see it under here with attachments and everything. Josephine, hi. It seems you only integrate with the Microsoft email in my Outlook. I use Outlook as my email tool, and I also set up in Outlook my Apple Mail and my Google Business email as well. Somehow you don't seem to integrate your app here. Is this the case, or do I need to do something different here? Yeah, if you have all these set up to go into your email, I believe that we will only be able to bring in Outlook, but we will actually forward your message to our customer success team, and they will follow up with you individually. And also they'll be able to look at your account to confirm that I'm understanding the question properly. So we will follow up with you. Tiffany, I'm still learning when it comes to Salesforce and Nimble for my organization. Is this compatible or the new look or a completely different program? Salesforce and Nimble are two completely different CRM companies. We do work together depending on what is it that you want to do. We do have a lot of customers that their company uses Salesforce and they use Nimble for themselves personally. When you're you can set up, you can use the browser extension inside of Salesforce. You can also send the information from Nimble to Salesforce. So let's see, you can click here and you can export it to Salesforce. You can also integrate both platforms via PySync. So networks and imports, contacts, we can look for Salesforce, and you would be able to sync both applications, but we are two separate companies. Chris, why does Nimble not offer an option to schedule individual emails and according to calls to CS that's not even on your dev roadmap when this is a standard feature in every other CRM on the market? Great question. I know that I'm not sure if you've already talked to somebody on our team that told you that it wasn't on our roadmap. I would double check with our dev team and get back to you on that. But at this current moment, we do not have the feature to schedule emails, unfortunately. Josephine, does the contact app also work with Google email set up in my Outlook, or does the contact app work? I believe that it will only work with your Outlook that you connected to Nimble. So we will forward it to our customer success team to confirm, and we'll also get back to you via email later today. Michael, does Nimble interact with Microsoft Teams? Can you import contacts from Goldmine? Yes, we interact with Microsoft Teams. We are actually right now working on um, upgrading the integration with Teams, so you'll be able to do more. But yes, you can plug Nimble into Microsoft Teams. To answer second part of your questions, yes. So the founder of Nimble is actually founder of Goldmine, and via PySync, I believe it will be, well, actually, let me see. So depending on the version of your Goldmine, so if your Goldmine instance was on premise, then it wouldn't be possible to use it via pricing and so on. But every CRM should have the ability to export the contacts, and then you can import them in. So even though it wouldn't be possible via pricing, I would also look into other vendors like Zapier if they would offer the integration, or you can of course export it and save it as a CSV file and then import it into Nimble using a CSV file. Rach, will you review how the company's records work, particularly in relation to contacts? Yes, let me go onto a contact record. So here we are on John's record. I can go onto Nimble's record. So I'll have the information about the company here, and all the employees that I also have in Nimble will be linked directly. So I can then look at all the employees of the company, or I can go back and review the information about the company here, its information, and then I'll always have the history of the interactions here. So hopefully that answered your question. Brian, can you show me your inbox? I'm asking as I want to know, can we set up a company staff member as both a user and a contact so we can copy them when sending an email? We can set both user. Yes, 100%. Yeah, so I have my maiden name here, but I am obviously set up as a user in Nimble, and there's also a contact record in here. So then you wanted to see my email here, and I mean, if you want to CC them. So if you're just trying to figure out if then you would be able to see the history of interactions for all the people involved. One thing that I also want to mention is that emails to see under history of interactions are for all individual Nimble users set up as private by default. You do have the option, and we do that internally. We actually unlock this is my test account, but you have the option to basically open the emails up, and then everybody in your Nimble team will be able to see the history of the interactions you've had with the contacts. But if I'm in my Nimble instance and I go onto somebody's contact record under messages, I only see the messages that I have exchanged with them by default. But if everybody opens up their email privacy, then you'll also be able to see their history of interaction. Michael, is there full integration of Outlook Exchange email address with CRM system tracking inbound and outbound emails with calendar monitoring? So you can connect you can connect any email to Nimble as long as it's an IMAP email. And then you can connect Outlook and Google Calendars to Nimble, and then we will automatically display all the information on there in Nimble. Jonathan, I can't seem to get the pop-up working for my Gmail account. How do I get that going? I check my browser settings to make sure that pop-ups are allowed. Same for LinkedIn. My only recommendation is to go into extensions and then looking for the Nimble extension and removing it, installing it again. If it still doesn't work, and then of course you can start to restart your browser. If it still doesn't work, then please email us at care@nimble.com and we will look into it. Bruce, will POP3 emails ever be integrated, or is it only ever going to be IMAP? As far as I know, I think it's only going to be IMAP going forward. Josephine, does Nimble integrate with Sprout Social or Agorapulse? You will be able to use it on there. So when you log into Agorapulse or Sprout Social, you'll be able to use the browser extension. So then you'll be able to hover over any names on your dashboard and then bring the people into your Nimble account. Brian, can you show me a client history showing all the emails from each of my team? Example, if my team member attached a quote via Nimble and they were out sick, I could just go to the client history and see the quote and all communications. Correct, but you have to make sure that all the team members first unlock their emails in settings. So you'll have to make sure that all your individual employees basically are sharing the information on here. And then, yes, you will be able to see it under the history of interactions. So you'll see their emails here as well. Michael, is there a search function to find specific words within emails as well as subject lines, and a filter function to search by date ranges or usernames? We have a search feature for notes. So in notes, you'll be able to search. We don't have a search for words in emails or subject lines, unfortunately. And yes, so unfortunately, you won't be able to do this sort of searching that you're asking about by date ranges and so on. Jonathan, is it possible to select only certain contacts from Gmail import as opposed to all contacts? Great question. No, if you were to just connect your Gmail through here and then bring the contacts in, it would bring in everybody. So I would recommend cleaning it up before the import, or downloaded it into a CSV file from Google Contacts, and then cleaning up the file and then bringing it into Nimble. Elisa, does it interface with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? Can you send text messages via Nimble? Our browser extension will work on all social media networks. In regards to text messages, it is not possible to send them from Nimble at this moment. Brian, where is your inbox in Nimble? So if I close Outlook, can I write and receive emails in Nimble standalone? Will your inbox show all your incoming emails in Nimble? Yes. So under messages, this is your inbox. It does not matter if you will be sending emails from your Outlook or Gmail or from inside of Nimble, from the contact record or from the browser extension. Everything will be automatically recorded. So it will just be a matter of preference. Do you have a link with WhatsApp? We do not. Chris, if I import from HubSpot, will it also bring over the interactions and exchanges I had? Right now, PySync will only import contact data, and then the interactions would be brought from your email, but we will only be able to go 90 days back. Michael, will calendar entries by external contacts with internal users show on Nimble? If your so if you have, I'm not sure if I understand correctly, but if you have, basically we will display everything that's on your calendar that you connected to Nimble. So if somebody sends me a calendar invite and it's showing on my calendar, I will be able to see it on my calendar. And then if you have access to your team members' calendars and use the option to display all calendars, it will show up here. So hopefully I answered your question. If not, please let us know at care@nimble.com, and we'll make sure to answer you properly. Michael, will calendar, I already asked that. Jonathan, is it possible to sync contact updates between Nimble and other programs in real time? For example, when I add or change contact information, it would automatically update the same contact in my Google Contacts, Microsoft Contacts, vice versa. Yes, this is available through PySync. So with any of the applications here, you will have the ability to create a two-way sync. The limitations are that the integration is only available for free if you sync less than 2,000 contacts per month. If you need to sync more, then there is a charge associated with that depending on the number of contacts. But if you sync less than 2,000 per month, you can totally create a two-way sync between all of these applications, and it will be done in real time. You can also, as you set up the integration, pick which app will be the one that basically always takes precedence. So if you always want Nimble to be right, or if, let's say, you're syncing with HubSpot, you can also set all that up. I don't have any more questions coming in as of now, and we are at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. If you have any questions, please let us know at care@nimble.com, and we will make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. And with that, I hope that you will have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.